This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is Michael McFadden. He is the CEO of Alpha Cognition Inc. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: ACOG on the TSX Venture and ACOGF on the OTCQB. And Alpha Cognition will be presenting at our upcoming virtual event, the SNN.Network Canada virtual event, happening December 7th through 9, 2021. To register and see his presentation, please go to Canada.SNN.Network. And with that, Michael, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Robert. It's good to be back. Good to see you again.
It's good to have you back. So for those that may have missed our previous interview or haven't seen or heard of Alpha Cognition before we get into those updates, can you give us that one-line description that best describes Alpha Cognition?
Sure. Alpha Cognition is a pharmaceutical company focused on neurodegenerative disorders. That is, think CNS disorders of the brain, and we're tackling some of the most challenging diseases that exist in CNS: Alzheimer's, ALS, and traumatic brain injury.
Very good. All right. So the last interview that we published, that we did together, we published that on June 24th, 2021. So let's get that update. What would you say are some of the company's highlights since then?
Yeah, a lot is going on with Alpha Cognition. First, we raised some capital in October, almost $11 million US, and we've initiated our 3 trials that we talked about early in the summer. We've initiated a mild traumatic brain injury trial. That trial is ongoing now. It's almost completed. We have initiated a trial for Alpha 602. That's our gene therapy approach for ALS. And we have initiated our pivotal trial work for Alpha 1062. That should be completed in Q1 of next year. We'll have top-line data readouts first half of next year on all of those trials.
Very good. So, looking back on 2021, because we're almost there, right? I mean, we're pretty much at Thanksgiving, so that the year is almost over. Would you say some of the highlights, not just from the last 6 months, but the full year, are they in line with what the company set out to do for 2021?
Yeah, it's a great question. The company is executing just as we set out to execute at the beginning of the year. In fact, in some capacities, we've accelerated and expanded our ability to perform in the coming year, 2022, as we begin to read out some of the top line data. So we have focused our 1062 program very tightly to execute that with a lean operating plan. And that, as I mentioned, that pivotal trial well underway. We've raised capital to allow us to initiate that trial, initiate a patient tolerability trial beginning of 2022, which we'll use to modify our label and commercialize the asset. And then we've started our 2 early phase trials, which were not in line with company plan in 2019, but we see tremendous shareholder value from being able to execute those programs and bring them to the next phase.
Very good. Well, this actually, you basically led me into my next question here. So you mentioned that, already that for the first half of 2022, that's when you're looking to do some top line readout of the results. So, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some additional value catalysts going into 2022? Or if you want to expound on that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think I'll expound a little bit. The top line data readouts are very important for all of these programs. The biopharmaceutical companies thrive and provide shareholder inflection points based on data. So we'll be looking for the data readouts on all of those programs. Additionally, we'll start a patient tolerability trial in the first half of the year. And we should have an interim readout, depending on trial enrollment, in the very latter part of 2022. Additionally, we plan to file a big NDA for our lead compound. That's a very important milestone for the company because that means we'll be close to product approval and being able to commercialize that asset. And then we have a discovery arm in our gene therapy program. We hope that we're successful and able to share results of new discovery assets that our team has been able to find for our gene therapy programs, and that could lead to a whole host of opportunity for the company.
Very good. Well, one last question before I let you go here. CNS diseases and especially Alzheimer's. The last time we talked, I think that was the big news item that we discussed. It was the Biogen, I believe it was the Biogen, right?
Yes.
So with having gotten the financing, having your trials underway, I mean, have you started having conversations with big pharma on these clinical programs and working with them? Obviously from what you can tell us, of course.
Well, as I can't say a lot. I'll just say we've had robust discussions on a number of different initiatives that the company's undertaking. Those discussions will probably continue as we have data readouts, and we'll see what the future holds. I will say this, as a company, biopharmaceutical company, even though we're small, we are prepared to commercialize our asset. And we have brought in the capabilities to do just that. Chief Commercial Officer has over 20 pharmaceutical launches, with myself included in that. About half of those have been billion-dollar launches. So we know what we're doing to bring the product to market and then commercialize it. But we're opportunistic as well. And if we find the right partner, certainly we would entertain a reasonable discussion on that.
Very good. All right. Well, with that, Michael, where can our audience go and find more information on Alpha Cognition?
Yeah, so alphacognition.com, and then we're on all social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, other social media. You can find information about the company as well as updates from the company on a routine basis.
Very good. Well, Michael, thank you again for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Robert, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.